Good morning. Happy Saturday. I feel like it's been forever since we were last on here. No, Libby and I have been doing a ton of traveling over to, oh shoot, what was it? Yeah, we did live in Las Vegas, but since then, Oklahoma, all that fun stuff. So I think carrying back our topic for today, it was all about self-image. I think that came out of our trips, and honestly, for me, it was a lot of granite with my routines, with my day to day. And so really started to question how comfortable I was getting with myself and what I was considering as, quote unquote, good enough.
Yeah, so we have had the craziest like month, probably traveling. I had to go to Oklahoma for a family thing, came back. We had a cruise, we had a conference, and then we had Thanksgiving. And I had said, oh my gosh, I am done traveling forever. It's fun, but it's also a huge disruption in your life, in your business, with your kids. And it's really, and I know this, it's really, really hard to stay consistent when you're traveling. And so for me, at least for 2025, I kind of have an affirmation of less travel, no more traveling. I have a few things that I have on my calendar, but for travel, I think for 2025, I mean, I'm focusing on it's got to be fun and relaxing. So, I mean, it interrupted so much of, for me personally, like my workflow.
My goodness,
Um,
yeah.
my workflow, employees didn't see as much of me, whether it's the remote company or the cleaning company. And I stayed true to certain routines and I stayed true to eating. I have not fallen off that wagon because, last year I traveled for 21 days straight. No, that was 2 years ago. And I didn't fall off the wagon with eating, but I do have to admit, I fell off the wagon with exercising.
Yeah, that was a big one for me.
And so it's really, that really, really is a disruption in our life. As much fun as it is, as much as we love seeing people, I'm ready to stay home.
Yeah. Yeah, for me, definitely the travel. Food again was fine, but it was rough at times, especially when a lot of it was lean and you needed that fat for the energy, at least for the way that we are. Again, the way of eating, I guess, is what you call it. But for me, it was exercise. I had good intentions, but fell horribly on that. Usually, I do a lot of calisthenics where I just use kind of like resistance and body and whatnot to exercise, but it never really was convenient. And in traveling, I would at least do, let's say, 30 push-ups on the floor, but everywhere was carpet, and
Everyone's dirty.
I'm not gonna do push-ups in a Las Vegas casino or a casino in Oklahoma doing push-ups on the carpet because I think that's just not right.
Yeah, everywhere was dirty. But so I want to start talking about, the topic that we mentioned, are you comfortable? Where does that sound? Are you waiting? My question is for everybody listening and watching is, are you waiting for 2025 to make your affirmations, your New Year's resolutions, your goals, or are you starting today? Like, we keep waiting and waiting and waiting. And what's that saying? Oh, on Monday, I'll start my diet. Remember, I used to say
Yeah.
that all the time, on Monday, on Monday. But I think as the year gets closer to the end, and I catch myself doing this too. Like, oh, I'll wait till the new year. Wait till the new year.
Right.
We're getting ready to launch another business. And I'm like, we're going to wait till the new year. And I was like, no, like, we're going to do it right now. Went to the attorney's office yesterday to get some stuff ready. But I'm like, why do we keep doing that? It's the micro habits, the micro changes that
Yeah.
lead to that macro. So we're not waiting. We actually next weekend, super excited. Chris and I, if you guys follow us, we do couples quarterly planning. And so for all my business owners out there watching, I see Jen, I see Erica, I see Maria. But for all my business owners out there watching, this is a super, super important thing that nobody talks about. And I'm going to claim it. And my goal in 2025 is to host an in-person one. But it's couples quarterly planning. And why is this so important? It's so important because I need Chris on my side, right? I need him to understand what I'm going through, but I also need to understand what he needs from me, what the family needs from me.
Yeah.
So it's one of those things where we go away for 2 days and we plan the quarterly. I talk about the business. He talks about what he wants. We talk about our family. What travel do we want to do in this quarter? What goals or things do we want to set? So we do it before the company quarterly. So I sit in a couple company quarterlies because I have a couple companies, but we do it before the companies meet for the quarter so that when I walk into my company quarterly, I know exactly how much I can give to each company
Yeah.
because I put my family first and my husband first and myself first. And then, um, I'm not overcommitting in the company quarterly. I know exactly where I stand, how much time I have, what's needed from me from the kids.
Yeah.
And then it makes Chris feel like he's part of that decision and not just being left second to our business.
Yeah, and I know we mentioned it in actually one of our very first date mornings is, the idea of your kingdom and, having that attention, that focus, that influence on yourself first and taking care of yourself first. So, Libby, what was it again? Please repeat it in terms of the priorities that you have in life.
Me. And I want to say good morning to Maria and Erica. She said she quit setting start dates. You've learned that you start now.
Yeah.
I just saw a great Gary Vee post and he said, stop making to-do list and get shit done. Stop making to-do list and go get it done.
Yeah.
So for me, my order of priority is me first. And that took me a long time to learn because we know that, or I always thought that that's selfish. I don't know. It's just a stereotype.
Yeah.
For moms and women. Oh, no, your kids come first. Let me tell you what, these kids grow up and leave. I have a 26-year-old. He grew up and left. And I put him first for many years. And I learned that lesson. And so I wasn't the best mom I could be because I wasn't healthy, probably physically, mentally, nutritional health, like even the food I was eating, I wasn't healthy. So I put me first. I put my husband, my relationship next, right? Then my kids, and then my business. So for me, it's me, my marriage, my children, my family comes in there with my children, like my mom and my dad and my sister and my brother, and then my business comes next. Because we cannot be great owners, leaders, managers, and this is not even for owners. You can't be a great manager if you're pouring from an empty cup, like you're an empty vessel inside. You can't. How do you expect people like follow you to the ends of the earth when you're just a miserable, disorganized, confused, insecure owner or manager?
Yeah.
So Erica said she loves that. It took a long time for me to learn it. Like I always thought that was like selfish, like I'm first. But it's just whatever I need, Erica, to be a functioning adult. Like what do I need to be mentally sound and healthy? What exercise do I need to do to work out my body and my mind? And it's not, for me, it's not going to get my nails done. And for some people it could be. Maybe that's what makes them feel good. But I had to figure out what made me balanced, right? What made me feel whole. And then I could pass that down in my marriage and then to our kids together. I'm sorry. I'm going to harp on this. I'm going to jump on this bandwagon. And I'm sure moms are going to come on here and get mad at me when I say this. But I'm tired of moms and like women and even some husbands, fathers, Chris, I'm going to call you out, putting their kids first. Well, it's a learning moment. But I'm tired of parents like putting their kids first on this pedestal of like they're the most amazing thing since sliced bread. And I got this when I was a basketball coach. No, your son is not Michael Jordan. Yeah. No one's son is literally at this point in time because no one has replaced Michael Jordan. But we give and give and give so much to our children that we neglect ourselves. I see moms do this every day and then they're just tired and miserable and overwhelmed. We see this in organizing. We see this within our cleaning companies for moms that we're servicing. And I just think that we need to stop putting our kids first and put ourselves first. And that will make us even better parents.
Yeah.
Maria said, my husband always says that our kids are going to leave us. They are. And at the end of the day, Maria, like it's just going to be me and Chris left, which is great, but not great if my marriage sucks because I gave everything to my kids and I didn't leave anything left for my husband. No passion, no energy, like a horrible sex life. What is like that we're left with a broken relationship when all of our kids grow up and leave us. Yeah. And then we wonder why a lot of like marriages end in divorce when the kids leave.
Yeah. And on that topic, I just want to say from a husband's standpoint and things like that is when you keep putting it off as there's more important things instead of sex life. I'm just going to bring that up right now. If there's more important things like, oh, we got to take care of this first or, oh, don't it's only for special occasions.
Every day's a special occasion.
Yeah. Then I think it's not doing justice to the relationship because again, there's that level of connection that
Mhm.
has to happen. It's just the nature of who we are. And so if we're not leaning into that and taking care of you first, then marriage, then family, and then whatever else is left, then I think that's where things break. And then because either you break or your marriage breaks, everything underneath of it breaks as well because that is the foundation.
Yeah, it is. And I mean, you don't know how many business owners reach out to me pretty consistently about help with this, not the sex part. But I mean, in reality, this is going to sound really shallow and naive, but it's one of the most important parts of building a strong relationship or marriage. And if you don't think so, then I think that's being naive.
Yeah.
So a lot of business owners will reach out to me about the lack of support at home, the struggle of this. So, and then this is why we wanted to bring up like goal setting. Are you comfortable? How are we approaching the new year? Try bringing your partner and your spouse in to then like plan your quarter with them on a personal level. Let them know what you're going to do in the company or what you want to do within that company as well. And then they're going to feel like they're a part of that journey versus just hearing you complain every time something goes wrong.
And even if they don't work in the company.
Yeah, Chris does not work and organize it at
No.
all. He doesn't even go to the organize it meeting, but he knows what I want to do every quarter in organize it because we cover it in our couples quarterly meeting. So this has nothing to do with your spouse working in the business. This is to get your spouse on board so you can have support. Because like I said, I get a lot of people reach out to me that it's like chaos every day at the business and then they go home and there's more chaos or more imbalance and they just can't take it anymore.
Yeah.
And I just think it's misalignment. I think we were taught wrong, and I think it's misalignment. At least from a woman's perspective, how we were taught that our kids come first, and that helicopter mom kind of thing. And I think that too, society teaches us to put ourselves last, moms or women or parents. And in reality, we should be putting ourselves first. So, our topic was, are you comfortable? Right?
It was all about, how's your self-image and, the idea of being comfortable, is that keeping you average?
My first question is going to be, who are the 5 people you're spending the most time with? Because you're the average of the 5 people.
And I would even dig a little deeper there, and because there's going to be some people that say, oh, well, I don't hang out with anybody. I'm always, I'm focused on my work.
But social media counts.
Yeah. So I would say that who is a part of your invisible council? Who is it that, even if you don't spend time with them, even if you don't, do anything with them, who is it that is on top of mind, influencing your perspective?
Yeah. And I don't think anyone talks about this that much. The average of the 5 people you spend the most time with, we think about in person. But you know how many people I hear say, "Oh, I have to get off Facebook. It's super negative right now.
I just saw a
why is
post earlier.
Facebook negative? Oh, I'm taking a break." No, I want you to think about this. It has to do. It's interest based, right? It's social based. You're attracting that. Those are your friends, or those are the feeds you're looking at. So they keep putting it in your feed. My Facebook is freaking amazing. I love everybody in it. It's great. It's positive, because if it's not, it gets unfollowed, put to sleep, snoozed, unfriended. And so you have to think about this with the new way we live. It's also social media. It's who are those 5 people in your feed the most?
So I'm going to say this, and I'd love to hear some feedback, but if you're feeling that social media or it's doom and gloom wherever you are, think to yourself, like, what are you putting out? Like, look in the mirror, look back at yourself. Am I putting out something that I shouldn't be?
Yeah. And Chris doesn't mean like, what are you literally putting out as in a post?
No.
It's like, what are you manifesting? What are you putting out? What are you searching? Because that's going to pop back up in your feed.
Right.
Or what kind of things are you reading? Or what kind of things are you clicking on? What are you putting out into the world, whether it's a thought, a manifestation, or a mindset?
Because there's some kind of, I will say this, there's probably, if you feel that feeling or that perception of social media in some way, then there's a mental bias that you have that you need to look back into. Same thing with me, is I have to self-check myself sometimes. I think that's really important, is the self-check, is trying to create triggers or wrap it into your day-to-day so that you have this moment of freeze, pause, and am I looking at things the right way?
Yeah, and I think a self check is really important. Me and Chris at our couples quarterly meeting, and one of the things that we have said that we're able to do is to, I'm trying to get the camera straight, is to call each other out. To call each other out if you see, if we're doing something that we said we weren't going to do, if we were doing some self-sabotaging habits, calling ourselves out if we're not living our values,
Yeah.
call us out. And we have our values each documented. So it'd be like your business core values, but me and Chris have our own personal core values. And then between those two groups of core values, we have a family set of core values. And then we call our kids out if they're not living those values. But I think we don't do enough of a self check because we can go off the deep end sometimes.
Yeah.
I had a business owner. This person was going through some really, really hard times and they let their emotions get to them. And the way that they were reacting was totally emotion. They came back and apologized to me. And I thought that was really, really big of them. They called themselves out. They did a self check. They were like, oh my God, I'm so sorry. I don't know why I acted that way. But I need to apologize to you because, I'm doing a self check, she said. And I thought, like, grown up, like, how noble of her to call herself out and do
Yeah.
a self check.
It's a hard thing to do.
It is. And I mean, I have a level of respect for this person now, like, just for doing that. I mean, that's hard to swallow your pride and say, hey, I was wrong and I apologize. But going back to self check, we used to self check our friends and our family, but I think we're not self checking this thing very often. Like,
Yeah.
who are we following? What's on here? Who's in front of us?
Mhm.
Who are we watching? Because I'll be honest, me and Chris don't hang around anybody.
And who are we allowing to be in front of us?
We don't, well, we do hang around a lot of people
Yeah.
when we travel and stuff, but at home, we don't really hang around that many people. We have very, very boring lives where we like to work a lot. But you got to self check this phone and organize it. We're going to start it back up. Last year, I did a mental housekeeping series. Mental housekeeping. What does your mental status look like when it comes to your like digital life, your phone, the clutter in your computer, the clutter on social media, the Facebook groups you're in? This is the new clutter. This is the new thing that's bringing us down in society, right? That mental housekeeping self check to keep your world positive.
Yeah. Yeah.
But we have Susie on here and Teresa and Tammy. You guys are all on here. Thanks for jumping on. We were talking about, what was the topic we were talking about, Chris?
Oh gosh, it was, well, we just talked about self-check, but it was,
How's your self-image?
yeah, your self-image and, are we, I guess the idea of good enough, is that keeping us average? Is it becoming a limiting belief if we just allow ourselves to settle just because it's easy?
Can I ask you a question?
Yeah.
What do you mean by self-image? Like what I think of myself?
Yes, because I think there's inherently something that happens, it's subconscious, where our self-image, how we see ourselves subconsciously, has us, we lean into doing things without even knowing it. Like the whole idea came up with being inside of a casino and we're looking around and most of the people there are wearing flip-flops
And pajamas.
and they got little hair caps and, whatever, but it's like they're in pajamas, they're just there, they just kind of rolled out of bed and went there and it was good enough for them to just, go at it. But I think to myself, and again, this is the idea of like that self-image is, are you subconsciously settling with the perception of you because you think that is all that there is to give?
I would say for me personally, prior to like 3 years ago, yeah, I settled a lot. I just thought that, hey, I was a mom in my 40s. I should be overweight. Like, hey, Maria's going to laugh at me. Hey, I'm a Latin woman. I'm supposed to have a belly. That's okay. All Latin women do. I'm half Mexican and half Native American. And I just kind of like settled for certain things. Like, oh, it's okay. I'm supposed to be tired. Like, I have a new baby. And that's when not a new baby, but a toddler, because that was 3 years ago. Yeah, I would have been 3. And so it's one of those things, and that I did this. I was so guilty, and it helped me like not live to my full potential.
Yeah.
Because I was just kind of like, yeah, that's what everybody else does. That's how it's supposed to be. And my goal is, and I need to get back on the wagon because I fell off, was to have abs by 45. So I turned 45 at the end of February, everybody.
Abs by 45, and you're also in progress of mission build a butt.
I'm in mission build butt, but I want abs now faster. But in my mind, I was like, oh, women in their 40s don't wear crop top shirts. Why would I want abs? And I'm like, well, I'm the percentage of people in the world that are have multiple businesses over $1 million that are women that have abs is like, it's a unicorn. It's like, I asked ChatGPT this. It's like 0.01% of the world has all those things.
Yeah.
So it's like trying to be different and unique. I'm like,
so here's the thing then.
Weird.
Here's the thing then. Y'all want to be 1%ers with your companies, but what about being the 1%ers for yourself?
Yeah. Well, that's what I mean. That's the one.
Yeah.
It's like
I wanted to flip that perspective because everybody, I see a lot of people out there who's focused on proud to be the 1%. I'm proud to be, the select few, the elite of business owners or entrepreneurs.
Or just like cleaning.
Or cleaning. But why not try to be the 1%ers
of the world.
Of
yourself. Yeah. So I have that little mini challenge going on. I'm thin enough now. Maria says she wants abs too. I'm skinny enough. Now I'm got to work on toning. The travel made me fall off the wagon, so I got to get back on it. But I wanted to read what Maria said. She goes, about dating. I asked my husband to do date mornings, and he accepted. Yay! It's different because we always did date evenings. So love that. Hopefully they work out. Super, we love our date mornings.
Oh yeah.
We even had cups printed. I don't know if you guys saw this. This goes to Sharon Timberg.
Yes.
So I did a quote the other day, and it's like, when you're wrong, shut up, and when you're right. Oh, right. When you're wrong, I don't remember. I'm gonna have to pull up the quote.
Yeah.
It's a quote from Sharon Timberg. But
to keep your love flowing.
I'm gonna look for it right now. Yeah, it's not gonna take me long because wait, where'd it go? Okay, it's right here. So let's read it. It says, to keep your love brewing in the loving cup. When you're wrong, admit it, and when you're right, shut up. So what did Chris do? He went and printed cups, and his says wrong, and he put right on my cup, and I'm like, why do you want to assume that I'm right? But I'll take it. So, it's so interesting with the whole, just, being that one, this whole journey, like being the 1%, the date mornings. Are you comfortable? I want you to look at who are the 5 people you're following on social media. Who are your 5 friends?
Yeah.
Are they pushing you? Here's my question to everybody, and this is something that I've just realized that I need in my life. I pay a lot of money for mentors. I have had Dan Martell as a mentor for 3 years, and I'm in this exclusive, very small group that he is in. It cost me an astronomical amount of money. You guys don't even want to know, but it's been worth every penny, every penny. But now I've noticed that I need the next evolution. I wrote on the top of my paper, so I'm an EO, and we were in forum the other day on Tuesday, and I want you guys to ask yourself this. I wrote at the top of my paper, because as we're like sharing our 5% and our reflections, I wrote, I need someone to push me.
Yeah.
I'm missing that, as much as I love Dan and I'm still in that group and I don't plan to go anywhere, he's not pushing me anymore.
Yeah.
Because I'm like, okay, it's the next thing. And I need someone in my life to push me, because for us naturally, we can get comfortable, right? We can get comfortable. We lose sight of perspective. For my business owners, we get shiny object syndrome. And I do really, really well when I'm put in a room with someone who makes me so uncomfortable. So uncomfortable. Dan used to, like, if you asked a question, he would call you on your crap. He would ask you to open your laptop, show him exactly what you're talking about.
He would grill you, ask 12 different questions.
Oh my God. And so I need the next level of that, because I know I have even more inside me. And I'm like, I just come to that affirmation on Tuesday. But I want to ask you guys, do you have that person in your life right now that challenges you so much that you're scared to even raise your hand and ask the question? We would raise even in boardroom with Dan. It was funny because one of the members is like, man, I knew that he was going to do that to me, but I asked the question on purpose because I needed to be called out.
Yeah. I
needed to be called out. And it's interesting that, we need those things. And I need that. So for 2025, I'm looking for the next, we're staying in boardroom. Chris is in SaaS Academy, which is his software group. And then I'm in the exclusive, it's a small group of business owners.
And we have our boardroom monthlies as well.
So every member of our team at Woot Recruit gets to meet with Dan's leadership team every month. So like our sales team meets with his sales team, marketing team meets with his
So
marketing team.
the authors of their new book.
So the offers, yeah, of software as a science. So those are like Chris's mentors
Yeah.
and JP's, and they even have an executive assistant. So like Dan's executive assistant is meeting with my executive assistant and everyone in the they call them wisdom circles.
Yeah.
So it's like I said, we pay a lot of money, but it's worth it because when your leadership team is excited to go to training, it's worth every penny. But that's my question. Like I see Samaria, hey, and Tammy's still here, and Lindsay, Teresa, always one of our best followers. Do you have somebody right now that's pushing you so hard that it scares you?
Yeah.
Like, I've had people come up to me in CBF. If you guys don't know what CBF, it's Debbie's amazing cleaning business group. And they're like, I want to hire you as a coach, but you scared the bejesus out of me. To me. And I'm like, great, that I'm doing my job.
Yeah.
Like, great that I'm doing my job. But do you have that in you right now? Do you have that in your life? Do you lack that? And I think as business owners, we need that. And it's okay to stay in some of these groups, but we do evolve out of it because we mature. Like, we mature past the level of it pushing us to the next level.
And then I think what happens is you get complacent because it's just kind of there. Like the level that you're at is just kind of there.
Tell you what happens, and I know this for a fact.
Uh-huh.
It's guilt. I love, like, let's just say boardroom. Like,
Mhm.
I don't want to leave. Like, I love CBF. I don't want to leave. It's guilt. I love my friends I've made in there, but I need the next level.
Yeah.
So
And
then
for some people, it's stacking.
it's stacking. So you can stack, but then I find I'm in like 15 groups and I'm like, well, crap, I'm in too many groups now.
Yeah.
And so you have to make those hard decisions. And there are reasons why we stay in certain groups. Like I love CBF. I'm not leaving because it gives me my industry insight. It gives me connection to cleaning and what's currently happening and great ideas. And so like I told Chris, I'm going to stay there for as long as I own my cleaning business. You know, SaaS, I almost thought about leaving boardroom because I was like, I need the next level. But then I'm like, man, it's keeping me relevant in the software industry, what's happening. And then we have our friends that we've made. And like, I feel guilty and indebted to like Dan.
Yeah.
Or Debbie. And then you're like, I can't leave, but then I need something else.
Yeah. Yeah. And I didn't want to forget one thing I wanted to mention, and it kind of goes along with what you were saying, and you've said it before, which is finding a mentor for each aspect of your life. And I want to go back to the idea of the average of the 5 people.
Yeah. Oh, this is your coffee.
It is my
I'm not
coffee.
wrong. Hold on.
But it goes back to the idea of the average of the 5 people, along with, again, mentors for specific areas in your life, is don't just think of that rule of you are the average of the 5 people you associate with the most. It's segmented out into who you fixate, how you fixate towards certain aspects of each part of your life. So if you bucketed out your life, instead of just one lump sum, to bucket it out into family life, you bucket it out into marriage, you bucket it out into business, you bucket it out into personal. And then you look now at the influences or what you gravitate towards, who you fixate towards for each aspect, each bucket. Because the people that let's just say that you lock in, you're like, you know what? I've got a great group of people around me that I'm associating with. It's fantastic. It's business. But the problem is that, is it the same 5 people? Is it that level for your marriage? Is what you're fixating on or what you're paying attention to for your marriage, I want to say like the 1%, the highest 5, the thing that's going to keep you improving or growing with your marriage,
Yeah.
your relationship. And I would venture to say that sometimes entrepreneurs don't have the best luck with relationships because sometimes it goes a little bit too deep, too fast, and attention gets away from the relationships. And so I want to make sure that there's a self-check there with making sure that you also focus on the 5 for relationships. You focus on the 5 personally in terms of personal growth. You focus on the 5 for family and see where you stand in ranking yourself.
Yeah, and I have to honestly give credit to Dan. It's a software group. And so in the SaaS Academy, in the regular level, right, it's mainly software. You get into boardroom and has nothing to do with business.
Yeah.
And it all has turned into, hey, like always self-checking, like how's your marriage? How's your personal life? Are you eating right? Exercising? The last boardroom, it was all about, we had a fitness coach, we had a spiritual coach, we had like, how do you talk and communicate? And it had nothing to do with running a business. So I have to give Dan credit because he really, really instilled that into us in the first couple years. And we were fortunate enough that when we joined SAS Academy, he was very involved in SAS Academy.
Oh, yeah.
He's exploded. So now he's just really interacting with boardroom. And I'm sure he'll leave that altogether soon as well, because he is pursuing his next mountain, which I respect and understand. But here's what I want everyone to think about is you have to have a balanced life. So we may be like in a group and that helps us with our business. But what are you doing like spirituality? What are you doing for marriage? What are you doing for health? What are you doing for like your mental capacity? I want to give you an example. Austin, he over the summer really wanted to get in, like go deep into basketball. And we hired a nutritionist, a speed coach, a mental coach, and he had an agility coach and then his regular coach. He had 5 coaches, this kid, 5 coaches. We picked him up from the airport. He stayed home all of June by himself because he wanted to play basketball and we wanted to travel. We picked him up from the airport and took him to dinner and he ordered broccoli. I'm like, what is going on and who are you? He would never eat a vegetable. He goes, oh, well, my nutritionist said that I need to eat more vegetables. Meanwhile, I've been here 16 years of your life telling you to eat vegetables and you never listen to me. And so he really got a sound understanding of the game, himself, his mental capacity, because he covered all 5 buckets of the game instead of just saying, oh, I have a high school coach, we're good.
Right.
Because we know that to be great at basketball, just like to be great at business, I have to be healthy.
Mm-hmm.
I have to have agility. I have to be mentally sound, right? And most business owners don't even do those. And here's a 16-year-old junior in high school, 5 coaches so that he could have a great game. All just for a great game. And so with my business owners, I just want you to think about like, okay, we're in a business group, but then what? Because then if that's all we're doing, then we're not getting great feedback maybe for our mental health or our marriage or our nutrition or our eating, because we're going to adapt to the habits that they may have if we're not having other influences in our life on those buckets.
Especially influences that are stronger.
Yeah. So Teresa, you said your health is at a 0, but the greatest thing, Teresa, is that you can always start today. Right? I love that saying that if I'm just 1% better every day, that it compounds over the course of a year. And I could be an entirely new person in a year. I mean, I posted a picture of me this week of what I looked like 4 years ago versus this year. And so it's okay. All we have to do is just be better today than we were yesterday.
Yes.
That's it. It's small. It took me 4 years to like feel healthy and look healthy.
Yeah.
It's micro. It's little tiny habits and transactions that we can do.
So 2 things I want to say about that. Number 1 is, and I want to direct this towards Teresa and whoever else is listening in case they need to hear it, but the idea of, again, if whatever part of you is at 0 and you know that you need to start, and of course you hear the same thing over again about 1%, just little by little, whatever, is go through the motions of asking for permission. For those people that are in your life, your family, your relationships, whatever, ask permission to help you get started with it. That's what Libby did with me and asked my permission to get started. And if you do the same thing with your employees and your company and your businesses, same thing's going to happen. And also a little teaser with the kids book is there's a little bit of this mindset wrapped in there for the kids, but it's asking for that permission. It gets them to jump on board, to buy in. You'll notice that people rise up to the occasion and all of a sudden you have this massive amount of support behind you. But if you never ask, you don't get that support.
Yeah. Yeah. And the craziest thing happened when I started on this health journey. All of our employees, all of them, some even cleaning technicians, people in the organized office, people in the Woot Recruit, they all follow you. They all inspired to be like you. They all are like, oh, Libby, I'm working out. I saw your workout plan on Facebook. I'm like, I didn't even know she followed me on Facebook. Or they're like, oh, I'm eating better. They're so proud that they see your transformation and they crave it in their life as well. Because this is not just an business owner thing.
No.
This is a human thing.
Yeah. Which is, I think is why it's so amazing. And by the way, those people that are doing stuff because of you, influenced by you, they're usually quiet and you don't know. And all of a sudden it's like, oh, by the way, over the last 6 months, I've been doing this, this, and this. And all of a sudden I'm amazing. Thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So Jeremy said, these are the skills that you are mentioning. Libby, wait, hard things, communication, health, physical, emotional, soft skills, relationships, leadership, yeah, emotional intelligence.
Yeah.
Maria said, everything is a process. Teresa, oh, I feel you on this one. I got nice and healthy and then allowed myself to slack because it's cold and the holidays. So here's the thing. So me and Chris, when we traveled, I said I fell off the wagon with exercising. We never stopped walking.
Yeah.
We never stopped walking. Oh God, my hand signal just messed up the camera. We never stopped walking. So what I wanted to share with you guys is that it cannot be a temporary thing in your life.
Yeah.
Right? You don't ever call it a diet. Don't ever say I lost 30 pounds because we always tend to find the things that we lose.
Yeah.
Dan Martell quote. He called me out on it. That's why.
Yep.
We tend to find the things that we lost. It's part of your life now. You know, we practice carnivore, and a lot of people ask me, are you going to stop eating that way? And I'm like, not right now. It's my life. Maybe I'll change my life one day. And I think the walking too, I think walking is one of the most underrated exercises that you could do. I think just making walking in your life and eating in your life. The one thing I learned in this journey, whether it affects your mental health and your physical appearance, is that 80% has to do with the food that we put in our mouth, not the exercise.
Yes.
80%, guys. 80. So if only you fixed your food. How many people, I know so many people go to the gym and work out every day, and they're so frustrated because they didn't lose weight. They look the same. Like they're not seeing any changes because they're still eating the same food.
Yeah.
You could work out every day, but food has 80% to do with even our mental health. Well, I don't think it has 80% to do with our mental health, but food has 80% to do with our physical appearance.
Yeah.
I know that because Dr. Giselle here in Fort Myers, when I went to the doctor to help me lose weight, she told me 80% has to do with what we're eating, Libby. You're going to have to change everything about the way you eat.
Yeah.
I said, as long as I can still drink wine. So, yes, I eat great and I still do drink wine. But I try to drink high quality, very good wine, no sugar, no carbs, and I still eat very, very clean. So I would say I'm like a 95%, 90% carnivore because I still have wine.
Yeah. And I want to go back to, because I said that there's two different points that I was going to bring up. One was for Teresa, which was just about asking for permission to help others rise up to the occasion and support you because you're going to need it.
Well, Maria said, she goes, I never ask for support.
Right.
Yeah.
It's tough too. And I'm sure as a mother, it's hard because you have to be strong. I get that. I've also had to learn as well because I had some insecurities with myself being young, and I thought that asking for help made me seem like, again, a baby, a kid, whatever. And so I was always extremely insecure and never asked for help because of that. But now leaning into it, it's so much better. The second point that I wanted to bring in with that was, again, the framework that I use is having unbreakable truths. These are things in my life that are so absolute and they're so absolute and they're so easy that breaking them seems stupid. And I want to keep repeating and giving those examples again. So like with health or fitness or whatever, I know it sounds silly, but I have I want to say it's literally a 3-minute workout 3 times a day. This is me. 3-minute workout 3 times a day. And I have alarms set for each one. And the alarm is get sexy. And I keep saying this jokingly because I'm anchoring it to the goal or the result, the output, which it is. And I want to make sure that number one is that I honestly, it might sound facetious or whatever, I don't know, but I want Libby to be like, wow, as a husband.
Wow. That's my husband.
Yeah. So there is
like, wow, that's your husband?
So there's ego, there's ego attached to everything.
Why do you think we like the sound of our own names?
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, yeah, exactly. But again, anchoring it to the thing that you desire the most or the outcome, not the thing itself, like set an alarm for work out for 3 minutes. It's even deeper than that. It's the feeling, anchor it to the feeling that's absolute. That's if you didn't do it because it's so easy and the want is there, then you feel bad. You feel dumb for not doing it.
Yeah, and Chris does these micro exercises, guys. So if you want to exercise and you feel like you don't have enough time, or micro exercising is huge right now. I learned about it when I ran a marathon because I didn't have enough time to train for a marathon. So I had to do it in sections or pieces throughout the day, because I didn't have enough time to do it all like just in the morning.
Yeah.
So when I was training for the marathon, they talk about like doing micro runs throughout the day, morning, afternoon, evening, and then it compounds and helps you prepare for that marathon. So Chris does micro exercising where it's like three-minute workouts a day.
Like, I'm not joking.
No.
I do 3 minute workouts with 30 reps for each thing. We can talk about that later if you're interested.
Well, if you're interested, you should join our higher
Profit tribe.
Oh, the Higher Profit Tribe. We talk about life in that. It's one of our Facebook groups. It's, if you have questions, Chris will drop the link in the chat, but we get a little bit more in depth with like food and our journey on eating and exercising and just mental health. Because some people don't want to hear that. So we have a group just for that. It's to live a higher, profitable life, because profit to us is an abundance of something, no matter if it's an abundance of money, love, relationships, it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
So, he does these micro workouts, and the research shows that they're actually can be more effective than like working out for an hour.
Yeah.
So it's really interesting. And he keeps a kettlebell like at his desk and just does them right at the desk. Like there's literally no excuses from the way he's framed his life.
I'll have to drop it in later because I can't find the actual post it here. I don't know.
I think you can just I don't think it'll do it while it's live.
Anyway, what I was gonna say to that is, again, to Teresa's point, in at least trying to find a way to get started or not feeling it's that barrier between getting started. It's the hardest part. It's that, I forget what it's called, but law of inertia. It's getting started is the hardest part. Unbreakable truths. We talked about the exercise, the 3-minute workouts, the micro workouts. I also have another, again, 5 p.m. every single day. I have an alarm set. It's not to stop working, because that is, again, it's not the outcome that I want. It's just, it doesn't really get me in a feel good moment or get me to take action. But that unbreakable truth for me is at 5 p.m., my alarm goes off and it says, be a great husband and father. To me, that is first and foremost the most important thing. And that is an instant reminder that if I don't stop, again, I'm stupid for not stopping. So there's things like these that you can set, think through it, find out what that outcome, that anchor is that you're looking for, searching for, and make something so easy that it's undeniable and unbreakable in your day-to-day.
Yes, awesome. And I think that when you do these things, we need to learn to live and depend more on technology. As in, what do you mean by that? Even Yaya at 6 years old, she has an alarm at 9 o'clock in the morning to play with bubbles, because that's what makes her happy. And so she has an Alexa in her room. Oh, I said the word. In her room, and it reminds her every day at 9 a.m. to play with bubbles, because that's what makes her happy. So if we can rely more on technology to help us, right? To help us remember the important things, to help us hold ourselves accountable, whether it's alarms on our phone, calendars, devices like a Chrome or Alexa or Google's. Austin uses a Google in his room for everything from reminding him to do his face routine, to brush his teeth, to he gets himself up for school every morning.
4:30.
At 4:30 in the morning. And so leaning on tech. And if you have children, we did this in the organizing section when I used to organize in the field. We would buy these devices to help kids that had ADHD to pay attention, to remember to clean their room, to remember to put up toys. And it works really, really well if you're one of those entrepreneurs or if you're a child, and you tend to get easily distracted. Or, you just go off the deep end. It will bring you back. And if you choose to ignore the alarm, then that's your fault, right? But you've put those bumpers in place. All right, guys. I think it's time to wrap up.
Teresa said, I'm guessing that it triggered her LEXA.
Yeah.
You want to shop for bubbles.
So, it's funny because we had to set the devices up so she couldn't buy something on her Alexa.
And that we had some subscriptions rolling for Prime Music.
Yeah, she bought all kinds of stuff, and we're like, whoa. So they have a kid setting on there now. But at the end of the day, ask yourself, are you comfortable right now? Are you, how's your self-image? And it can sound vain, but it's important. It's important. How's your self-image? Are you staying comfortable?
Yeah. In the mornings, look in the mirror and say, do you feel amazing? Do I feel amazing? Do I look amazing?
I've always wanted to have our devices play that Mary J. Blige song in the morning. And if you've never listened to that Mary J. Blige song, it's called Good Morning Gorgeous. And I was like, well, that's kind of snotty, but it's a very emotional song. like inspiring song because she's telling herself every morning to get up and call herself gorgeous. So, are you comfortable? Is it keeping you average? And then my question to all of my business owners, do you have that thing in your life right now pushing you? Pushing you so hard, it scares the bejesus out of you. You don't even want to ask a question sometimes, but you do because you know they're going to call you out.
Yeah.
It's amazing to have that in your life. When you see people, when you see entrepreneurs, I'm trying not to talk with my hands because I don't want to trigger the camera. When you see those entrepreneurs in your life just taking off like skyrocket, and you're like, man, they're killing it. I'm telling you right now, man, they got somebody pushing them so hard that they don't even know what their own limits are now.
Yeah.
And so if you don't have that, get it. Get it now, whether it's a spiritual coach, a fitness coach, a nutritionist, a business coach, an industry coach, because I think it's great to be in our industry specific groups, but then running a business is the same everywhere, like leadership coach or just an accountability, right? Or mentor or consultant. I love coaching, but at the same time, I love consulting. A consultant just call you on your crap, tell you what to do. Done. They don't even ask you a question. You're like, okay. So ask yourself these questions. Anything else before you wrap up? I do got to get up and turn around and turn this off.
Really, it's just that is just how are you positioning your life to just be a better you? I think that's everything that we're wrapping up to is how are you positioning your life to be a better you? So, I know, let me just go ahead and turn this off. So, hope you guys have a great Saturday. Please kick it off with a bang, and we'll see you guys next week.